Hello and welcome to Love Has Many Faces. I hope everyone has had a good holiday so far and is continuing to enjoy time with family and or friends and or pets, however the situations work out. We are fortunate to have a brand new first-time guest today. Her name is Heather Reichel, and she runs a facility in Tacoma that specializes in dogs with some specific needs. Some of those are reactive dogs. Some of those are dogs who've had surgeries and need special care. And we are going to be learning more about that. And hopefully, there will be some good and useful information you can share with other pet lovers. So, just a quick reminder, our shows are podcast now. So, if you go to any search engine and type in Love Has Many Faces podcast, it should take you right to the page where my podcasts are. And of course, we're here on Tuesdays, 9 to 9:30 Pacific time in the morning, and you can listen over the air or online. So thank you for joining us. This is Marilyn Milano, your host of Love Has Many Faces, and we will be right back with our special guest, Heather Reichel of Pet Recovery Center. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Coach Debbie from Story U Talk Radio, and I want to encourage you to write your book. Weekly, I offer topics about style and storytelling. I take your questions on our live show every Thursday at 4 o'clock, or you can subscribe to Story U, that's capital U, on any of your favorite platforms.
This is Martha Norwalk. Every Sunday morning, beginning at 9 a.m., thanks in part to Linda Rasmussen at verticalenergyworldwide.com, we cover the world of animals. This week, January 4th, it's Shelter Rescue Sanctuary and anything that helps our animal friends Sunday. We'll talk with Meow Cat Rescue, Help Animals India, Merritt and Beth Clifton from animals24-7.org, plus we'll find out what's coming up in the new year at the Ananda Institute for Living Yoga. Martha Norwalk's Animal World, Sunday morning, 9 a.m. to noon, right here on Alternative Talk, AM 1150.
Find out the latest about your favorite shows on Alternative Talk 1150. Check out 1150kknw.com.
Welcome back, everyone. And you are listening to Love Has Many Faces here on Alternative Talk 1150. And I am welcoming our first-time guest today, Heather Reichel. Heather, thank you for joining us today. I'm so pleased to have you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
And so I know you are the founder and the prime operating person for Pet Recovery Center. How about just a quick rundown on what it is that Pet Recovery Center offers and what makes you unique?
Sure. Well, we are actually the first of its kind in Washington. And I have opened up this recovery center so people that have had any type of pet that have had any orthopedic surgery or any type of procedure whatsoever that possibly just don't have the time to help, do the medications every couple hours and all the things that go into caring for a pet after that, we will do for you. We're fully veterinary staffed and we are there 24/7, so your pet will never be alone.
I think that's fantastic. Now, I know just what you said about being there 24/7. Most veterinary clinics are not open 24/7. I know the emergency places are, but I know that can be hard to get into and that the expenses can really skyrocket in an emergency clinic, depending on your situation.
Absolutely. I have quote unquote retired from the emergency veterinary hospital once I just started seeing a need from my previous surgery experience as well. There just seemed to be a gap that nowhere really had the option to fulfill for people. So I just am very passionate with animals, have been since a child, and wanted to offer something for those that just don't have the availability.
Well, I
Absolutely.
think that's fantastic. And I know that pet parents across the region are probably applauding you. So now, were you a veterinarian before starting this endeavor?
No, just certified veterinary assistant
Okay.
and brought in a lot of nurses with me that I've worked with. Unfortunately, not hiring anyone that I don't know. I just feel so intent on the 100% care of these animals that I need to know the people that are in my facility so I know they're going to do exactly what I would do.
Okay, well, I think that's fantastic, and that should make people feel, comfortable that they're certainly getting top quality care. So, how long have you been there? And you're located in Tacoma, right?
Well, it's Spanaway, Tacoma area. They're kind of all run together. But I took over a VCA animal hospital. It used to be there, and just kind of revamped some of the rooms. So we have exam rooms that are now large recovery rooms. So we can handle any large breed of animal on top of any small animal. And we will actually be opening up the first week of January. So I just had my open house trying to get the word out, and I'm ready to take in some babies.
Okay, so this is brand new then.
It is brand new. It's been in my mind probably for about 10 years, but finally just I'll be open there. I turned 50 and I wait, you know what? I'm ready to do something new and something to be more beneficial to the community and to more pets out there. So I
I
just took a leap of faith.
I think that's fantastic. I mean, I'm one of those people like you who has loved animals since I could walk and talk. I used to sleep with a bed full of stuffed dogs, and I had my first pet when I was just about 4 years old. Actually, we got a little guy when I was two or so, I think, but my folks told me he was stolen. I was
Oh,
too little to really remember, but then when I was four, we brought home a golden retriever, and I grew up with those. And then I fell in love with Cocker Spaniels, and I've had a few little mixes, but I have Cockers now. But you said you can take a large or a small pet. So do you only work with dogs and cats or other animals as well?
no, I have checked with all of my staff and no one has any um, fears, maybe is the word, or any issues with any pet. So it can be a ferret, it can be a bird, it could be a cat, it could be a dog, guinea pigs, whatever you have that just may need some extra help, we're there for you.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about a situation. Now, you mentioned, for example, if they need to have hourly or every other hour kind of medication, maybe the pet parents are working and they can't take the full 2 weeks off to take care of their animal. Um, so what might be other situations where a person would come to you? Again, it's certainly the emergency room, that's a possibility they could stay there, but most vets don't have 24/7 care and it can get expensive. So
Sure.
how do you compare price wise? I mean, not, you know, giving out numbers or anything necessarily, but just how do you feel you compare price wise with the other options that have been available so far?
Oh, goodness. Well, that part was hard when I started out with this because I didn't want to charge a lot because you're already spending so much on surgery. Luckily, there's new facilities that have just opened up in Spanaway, Tacoma area that are doing lower cost surgery. And so I'm excited that they've just opened up and they'll be getting their word out soon, and plan on working with them so people can get a lower cost surgery, come to me. It's just a little bit over what a boarding would be for a doggy daycare boarding overnight situation, but with added cost of just having nursing care there. Uh, Say you had a pet that maybe, sadly had to have an amputation. That
Yes.
might cost a little bit more because we're definitely visiting the pet more in the recovery room. We're doing what we call TPRs, which we will do on every pet that's there recovering. And that's the same as if you're in the hospital and you're sitting there resting nicely and they flip on the light and say, sorry, we have to check your vitals. you
Right,
know,
right.
well, we'll be doing the same thing, but we have night lights in there. So we won't be doing any of that obnoxious awakening that it feels like for a
Oh,
human. But yes, we'll be going through and checking blood pressure and we'll be checking heart rate and temperature. And we'll be doing everything that the veterinary hospital does, but just at half that cost.
right.
It's kind of a twofer in the sense that a lot of the veterinary hospitals are also low in staff right now, which means they don't have the staff to be able to handle medical boarding. They may have the room, but just not the people to go through and do everything every 2 hours for every pet there. And
That
so
is
I'm
tough.
hoping also to kind of give them some space too. So it should work so well for everybody out there.
Well, it sounds like that. Now, I have heard about the shortage of veterinary assistants, even veterinarians. Is
Mhm.
that due to burnout, to stress? Is it due at all to, I mean, I've heard things about more corporations are buying up clinics. You've been in the industry. What do you think?
Oh gosh, it's a little bit of all of them, to be honest. I started in the veterinary field at 16, and of course, I admitted I'm 50 now. Um, but it is absolutely burnout. It's hard because prices are going up due to corporate factors, which makes customers very upset and angry, which is very understandable because you want to sit there and do the best for your pet. But then you're looking, well, how am I supposed to, pay this $5,000 bill right here, right now without being able to prepare for it,
Right.
emergency situations. And
Right.
so we do get the brunt of that in the field. And again, we all understand, and unfortunately, we have no say. And so corporate, yes, is number one, burnout number two, along with stress and um, going down the chain in the uh, in the field within the clinic, your pay is less and less, but you still have the same stress. And
Right.
so all of the factors, all of them, people that I've worked with for a long time are like going into construction. They're like, you know what, I'm just done. I need to not be in charge of a being anymore because it's just too hard on my heart.
Well,
So
I can
yeah.
understand that. I mean, we worry about our animals so much. I mean, like if there is any kind of an issue, I'm a helicopter pet parent, I'm just on everything. And if one of them moves wrong or breathes wrong, I'm like, oh my gosh, what is that? And so
Hmm.
on the one hand, for helicopter parents like myself, it would be so good to know that they're in a place where there is staff there 24/7 and that they are never going to be alone. And if something, requires immediate attention, they will get that. Now, you mentioned new hospitals going in around you. Um, if there were something that went sideways where they needed to go into surgery or something, are you close to a facility? Can your people who are there handle that because you have nurses, or how does that work?
Currently, I have an LVT, which will be coming on a month later. So I'll be doing in smaller cases. Uh, Basically, when you take your pet home, you end up with a nice large packet and a bag full of medicine that says, here you go. Don't let them do anything. And you're
Right.
like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But you may have other pets at home and they're supposed to be calm and resting and possibly kenneled, depending on you have small children that are excited to see, their dog back home. You may be traveling. When someone leaves their pet with us after surgery, we will be asking them for, we want to be able to use these veterinary hospitals if something goes wrong. We need backup 911 calls for them or family members in the area. We will not be traveling with the pet because if something were to happen and they go into cardiac arrest, we cannot be doing CPR while we're driving, your pet. So there's going to be some phone numbers and we have these veterinary services right around us. These are the people you're going to want to go to and are expecting you there. But yes, it would be as if you were going home with the pet, but you're not having to wake up every couple hours. You're not having to do bandage changes that are very scary. You may have trains and things that aren't really pretty to handle. Not everybody's up for that, stomach wise, and we've seen
Right.
it all and have done it all. So it's no big deal for us on our end. Or you
Well,
may live in an apartment and you have a Rottweiler that just needed surgery and you can't carry your Rottweiler up and down 2 flights of stairs, while
right.
they're healing. So there's
Right.
just so many things, I wouldn't want to bombard you with the whole list of reasons why.
Well, it just sounds like there is a need for something like this. And I'm sure having been in the industry, you have spoken with people who have said, gee, if only we had something where we could do X, Y, and Z and be sure that our pet could get care. What do you anticipate that the average stay would be? Now, again, I know everything is a variable depending on what was
Mhm.
done, but what do you anticipate the average stay might be at your facility for a pet?
I would hope after any type of orthopedic surgery, anything where, tissue's been opened up, 3 to 5 days. And that's only because that's the most important recovery time. The first week of surgery is actually the highest chance of infection. And so you have the surgical site to watch for. You're managing pain. There's life-threatening complications during the first week. It's 24 hours worth of still recovering under anesthesia, which causes nausea, vomiting, lethargy, diarrhea, disorientation. Let us monitor, all of those things for you so you can go to work, get your sleep, get your kids to school, not have to struggle locking up your other pets so this one can stay alone. So with surgery, I would certainly hope 3 to 5 days, but whatever a family can afford to pay where I can help, I am happy to do so.
So, well, that's great. Now, you mentioned in some comments from before, in some notes I have, that you also have committed to boarding reactive dogs. Now, are these reactive dogs who have had surgery that other places don't want, or is this just dogs that are reactive that need a place to go? Help me understand that a little more.
Sure, it can be either one. Dog reactive dogs do hold a place in my heart. I was a caretaker, a volunteer, and a dog trainer at an Alaskan Malamute rescue. And during that time, a lot of the Malamutes that came in were having a lot of trauma issues or red flags, people would say. And just seeing another dog would make them react and it would start fights and cause problems. I had to learn there to be very strategic on where I kept the Malamutes, who I let out first, who I let out last, who I brought in, just so none of that happened and it stayed a peaceful environment, which was my main goal with all of these dogs there.
Mhm.
And I just learned to love them so much because it just wasn't their fault. I could train and work with 90% of them, but there were just some that whatever happened in their past just is still really stuck with them. And it's not their fault. And a lot of these poor babies get euthanized without the chance of training and help to figure out why it is they're that way. And so just with that and having surgery, I would have to go, as the caretaker, pick them up right away because they couldn't really stay at the vet because they would cause a lot of anxiousness and barking. And it's supposed to be recovery and healing, and quiet there to not
Right.
stress out other animals. And that just wasn't the case with a lot of the dogs that I had. So it just was another thing for me going, there is no place for boarding. So they can either have surgery or they could just need boarding. It does not matter to me. I am there to help them. They have a separate entrance. They have a separate place to stay within the clinic. And I'm excited to be able to open that door up for people that just have not had that opportunity.
That's really wonderful because yes, a lot of these animals are beloved pets, but they have special considerations, special needs. They can't be around other pets, as you said. And that would mean, in a hospital situation as well, or like you said, a boarding kennel. So now
Mhm.
before we get to, I'm always amazed at how quickly the time goes when we're talking. We still have a few more minutes. Before we get to the end of our conversation, I want to make sure that I get contact information for you. So your clinic's name is Pet Recovery Center. Do you have a web address and a Facebook page, or what can we tell our listeners who might want to know more?
Well, I'm embarrassed to say my Facebook page has gone down, but my website is currently working well, and that is www.petrecoverycenter.com.
Okay.
And again, we're in Spanaway. If you know the area, it would be the old VCA South building next to the Ace Hardware.
Okay. And another question, what about animals coming from other parts of the state? I mean, Seattle, the North End. If people can get them there, are you still able to help them?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I am happy to take anybody that needs help. We also take in senior pets that maybe owners need to go away, but they're on medication or maybe diabetic and need to have their sugar levels checked. And it's just kind of hard to find people to come in and be able to do that. So any special needs, any senior pets, anybody recovering from any surgery or procedure of any sort. We're kind of taking everybody that doggy daycares can't take, and boarding facilities will take up to certain ones. We're taking everything in between.
Okay, I think that's really good to know. And so I know people can find out more on the website, which is www.petrecoverycenter, all one word.com. Do they stay in is it a crated area? Do they have little rooms? I mean, how do you have that set up?
There's a multitude. We have large rooms that are almost 10 by 12 feet, smaller rooms that are regular exam room size. And then we have large kennels and smaller kennels. Some animals, depending on if they had an orthopedic surgery, aren't allowed to have a lot of room to maneuver because
Yes.
that's where
Yeah.
they injure themselves.
Yes.
So we have a variety of spaces built in there. So whatever the case may be, I've got a spot to suit them for their recovery.
Okay. Well, before we have to wrap up, I'm just wondering if you have any special stories. I mean, you told us the story about some of the Malamutes that you worked for, but I just wonder if there are any animals that come to mind where you were able to give them a little extra love and attention. I realize you're just opening it the first of the year, but I'm thinking perhaps in your other life before this new endeavor, if there's any particular pet that comes to mind where getting the extra love they needed and the extra care they needed made a big difference.
Oh, goodness. Well, when you go onto the website or if you come to the building, you're going to see a beautiful Malamute face as my logo. And his name is Kangamoo. And he was residing at the Malamute place that I was caretaker for and trainer for. And he was deemed aggressive when I arrived there. And he was the first dog I worked with once I was on property. Didn't like men, just anytime you'd reach for him, he just, would lash out. He wasn't comfortable with it at all. And so I worked with him for 2 months straight, just me, never touching, never doing anything, just sitting with him in his yard. And he'd have his little story up inside too. So try to make it short after all the time I spent with him. One day he just kind of laid his head on my lap and sat next to me and did a big sigh. And I accepted it as he's accepting me. And I went to pet him and he took it. And I started crying because, I just felt really connected with him. And I felt amazed that he chose me to befriend him. And all of a sudden he sat up and started licking all my tears and my face. And from that moment on, we were the best buddies. And he was my soul dog, if there is one out there. I mean, I've rescued and owned many dogs, but he's my baby. Sadly, there was an incident and he was euthanized about a month before I was able to bring him home to me. So I could not say goodbye to him. So I chose him as my face so I can see him every day, knowing that he's watching over me with this.
Well, I mean, just the fact that you gave him a chance and that it showed he was able to trust again. And some of these animals, the poor souls, have been damaged, and we do what we
Yes.
can. And, if they're a danger to others, we have to work with that as well. But I commend you
Yes.
for taking on the hard cases and also for creating a space where people can bring their pets when, as you said, they either don't have the capacity to carry them up the stairs or the availability to do meds through the night because they have to get up and go to work to earn their keep and so forth. The last question I have is, do you take the usual insurances and also cards like Care Credit for people that may be facing, they have to raise the money or find the money?
That's in my plans. So far, I don't have the income ready for that, but I absolutely have all of them listed on my personal to-do list, waiting to be approved to be able to do that because that's so important. Yes, I do believe it. So I certainly hope soon.
Okay, well, that's good. Yeah, I mean, I think all of those things are important. And in the meantime, it's great to know there is a place people can bring their pets. So, again, we've been talking with Heather Reichel from a Pet Recovery Center located in the Spanaway area near Tacoma. But doesn't matter where your dog or your cat or your bird lives. If you need their services, they will talk with you. You can visit their website, petrecoverycenter.com, and find out more there and talk with them and ask some questions if you need that. So again, Heather, thank you so much for joining us, and I wish you the best of luck with this start in the new year.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate coming on today and sharing my story.
All right, we're going to take a very short pause and we will be right back. I'm Marilyn Milano, your host of Love Has Many Faces here on Alternative Talk 1150. Hi, this is Marilyn Milano, your host of Love Has Many Faces. The music that you're hearing during this show every week is exclusively original music from my own CDs. If you're enjoying it and would like to order a copy of one of my 2 CDs for yourself or as a gift, just go to marilynmilano.net and you can order directly from the website. I give a portion of every sale back to Animal Rescue because that's part of the whole cause. Thank you for listening and thanks for your support.
Talk radio with a purpose. Alternative Talk 1150.
Welcome back to Love Has Many Faces. I'm your host, Marilyn Milano, here on Alternative Talk 1150. We had a wonderful conversation with a first-time guest, Heather Reichel, who is just opening up the Pet Recovery Center in the Spanaway area for special needs dogs after surgery. They need special care you may not be equipped to give them, or even reactive dogs who need a safe place to stay. So you can find out more on their website, and we wish her the best. There is definitely a need for this kind of care. So check out the website and share with friends and animal people who might be able to use this information. We are here every Tuesday, 9 to 9:30 in the morning, and that's Pacific time. And we are also podcasting, so check us out. The Love Has Many Faces podcast. You just have to type that in, and you will find it. So wishing you all a very happy new year. And we will see you next year, as the saying goes. Take good care. This is Marilyn.